to Stories of Brisco and Bradshaw. I will be Bradshaw. That will be the Chickasaw native and Chickasaw Hall of Famer, Mr. Gerald Brisco, Oklahoma's favorite son. And what a treat we have today. One of the greatest images, stars, you name it, in the history of the WWE. Some guys come along and just become icons. This is one of those guys. From the Brood to the Ministry to the 1993 PWI Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure how that happened because he'd been wrestling quite a while. So I think there's something with gimmick with that. But he is our friend Gangrel, Mr. David Heath. Gangrel, welcome to the show.
How are you doing, sir? Yeah, I always question that 93 Rookie of the Year. I think I broke in like 87. I think because I worked under a mask with the Blackhearts most of that time, I suppose.
So you worked the magazine. They go, who's this new guy? We have never seen him before. He looks like the mask guy that was in Calgary.
That chubby fat bastard.
Hey, David, man, it's great to have you on. You're a Florida boy. You're from down there in South Florida there. Your background ties in with a lot of mine here, my upbringing too in the business there with several of the same characters that got you involved in it. But tell us, when you growing up in the South Florida down there, Florida Championship Wrestling had to be your inspiration getting this. But tell us a little bit about David Heath, the athlete in school, and how who had to be Dusty Rhodes or Joe LeDuc or Mike or Eddie or someone, Steve Kern, one of those many stars that we had down here in Florida that kind of influenced you. So tell us a little bit about that part of your career.
Well, yes, I grew up in South Florida, Deerfield Beach, Florida. Grew up in a rough neighborhood. Played football. I wanted to be a preacher and play football. That's it. You know, I remember the high school scouts would come to the Pop Warner games and say, what pro team do you want to play for? And I'd go, Miami Hurricanes. He goes, that's a pro team.
They were a pro team.
Back then. And unfortunately, I broke my neck playing football at 13. And so when I broke my neck, I kind of went a whole other path. As I said, I grew up in a rough neighborhood, so I started running the streets and getting involved in all that stuff. We were like, ended up selling drugs, doing all kinds of shady stuff like that. And by the age of 13, the 14 I moved in with an uncle. By 15, I was on my own because I already got a girl pregnant, and so I had a son on the way. And so sports was out the window. When they took football away, when I broke my neck, they said I couldn't do any more sports, and that's why I just went a whole other path. That was the only thing that kept me grounded. And, you know, I was going to church. So I also, when I broke my neck that same year, I lost my little brother. He drowned. So the whole church thing, I was mad at God. Football, I was mad at God. And just went a whole other route, got in a whole lot of trouble, and ended up growing up really fast and working construction. And one day, and I did watch a lot of wrestling because you asked me who my inspiration was. You know, I watched a lot of Florida. Of course, Dusty was my mom's guy. My mom loved Dusty. And I only went to one professional wrestling match, and that was with my mom. And I wouldn't go again because she embarrassed the hell out of me, standing on the chairs, yelling at people, and then trying to fight in the parking lot afterwards. But it was Barry Windham when he came in, when he just started out. When Barry Windham started out, that's who I did a lot of watching.
Oh, just to make you feel better, my mom challenged Fritz Von Erich one night in Dallas, Texas.
Did she really?
Yeah. Fritz had beat up on Jack or something. My mom was there for the first time she'd ever seen a pro wrestling match. Fritz was walking by because she, of course, ran to the back when Jack was going to the back, and Jack went first, and here comes Fritz, and according to Fritz, she got right in his face, and he said, I was terrified, to tell you the truth. He said, because I knew what your brother could do, I just wondered what your mom could do at that time.
Was your mom a tall lady or short lady or what?
No, she's an average sized lady, you know, but she had that Indian blood in her. She had that fire. She probably had a little fire water in her at the time.
That's great.
So from there, I just, you know, I tried to, I built a stock car at 15 down in Hialeah Speedway. I don't remember Hialeah Speedway down there down in Sweetwater, Miami. And that didn't work out. So I tore that thing up, totaled it, and it came down to my rent being, it was like, rent was due. And so I ended up selling the stock car, paid my rent.
Wait a minute, you're 15 and you got rent due?
Yeah, I moved out. I was on my own, 13, 14 years old. And by 15, I had
a baby due too, right?
I had a baby, yeah. baby, yeah. Yeah, birthday's coming up.
You did grow up fast.
Gangrel, not to go back right quick, but how did you break your neck? I mean, that's unusual for a 13-year-old to break their neck in football. Was it in practice?
No. It was a championship game. We was playing Lauderhill. I played offense, defense, kickoff, return. I never left the field. Pretty much one of the only white guys on the team. So, like, I played really, really hard. We're playing Lauderhill. It was a tough team. And the quarterback, there was a fumble. Went to pick the fumble up. At the same time, I was picking the fumble up. The running back came across, and I caught a thigh right in the side of my, like a knee lift, like a Mr. Wrestler number 2 knee lift there. A knee lift, and at the same time I caught the knee lift, the quarterback was coming down on the back of me, and they didn't have but like the 2 bars back then, and I didn't wear neck pads or anything, like neck braces or anything. So his face mask hit me in the back of the neck, and I caught the knee lift about the same time going down, and I got up and they told me I kind of walked to the huddle. I don't know, and then I just went and walked back. I was playing defensive end and stood on the end over there. And then my mom again, she knew something was wrong. Never came to a football game in her damn life. That's the only game she came to. And apparently she was screaming in the stands and came down there and started screaming at the coaches saying there's something wrong with him. And I guess it was. I woke up in an ambulance. They were cutting my jersey off and everything. And then, but I wasn't in the hospital very long. I only wore the neck brace about, I think I wore it 9 months or something like that.
Wow,
then,
that's a long time.
So she started the concussion protocol.
I imagine she sounded a lot like she did in that chair when she was yelling at the ring. But so I grew up quick, and then I was actually looking for a better construction job. I was working construction, and was 17 at the time, and I saw an ad that said, become a professional wrestler and make big money on the weekends. And I thought, well, hell, I'll go do that. I went down there, and I just sold the stock car. I had a few $100s left, and I went down there, and it was Boris Malenko, Dean Malenko's dad, and he was giving a tour. And I remember he took us around. It was a racquetball court. And
now, is this in Tampa or South Florida?
This was South Florida. He was splitting time. He was doing a week. He was doing the weekdays in South Florida, and he was going home to Tampa on the weekends. So eventually, when I started training, I ended up training Monday through Thursday in South Florida, and then Friday I'd get in the car and drive to Tampa, and then train Saturday, Sunday. Because I trained with Gotcha's son-in-law. I always get his name wrong. Carl Gotcha's son-in-law. I trained for the UWF originally too. I trained for them on Sundays up there in Tampa. But he gave me a tour around, and I remember sizing everybody up. I seen a couple people had a black eye, and I was thinking to myself, well, I got a fighting chance here.
Were there any guys that made it from that group besides you?
No. There was a guy that had already done some time in WWE. You probably remember, he passed away not too long ago. He actually took me under his wing. I don't know why this crazy son of a bitch took me under his wing, called Corporal Kirshner.
Oh yeah, good guy.
Yeah. He would come around. He was already trained, and I think he'd already had a WWE run, but he'd come along in there and just start beating the shit out of me. But nobody really came up out of there. Boris Malenko was a trainer. Rusty Brooks. Remember Rusty Brooks?
Rusty,
he helped Sammy up. Yeah. And Dr. Red Roberts was another
I remember Red
trainer
too.
there. Yeah. So those are the ones I trained under in Florida right there. Yeah.
How old was Dean and Jody at this time? Were they around?
No, they weren't around, and I don't think their dad trained them. I think I don't know who trained them. I want to say Gotch trained them.
Gotch trained Jody. I'm not sure who trained about Dean though.
Yeah. So
I don't think he was trained.
They weren't around till later. Because then I trained there, and then I got a chance to go to Calgary. Then I trained in the dungeon for a while in Calgary.
Well, tell us a little bit like that. Was Stu everything that people would say? You coming from Malenko though? You knew how to defend yourself.
Right, but he didn't come down in the dungeon when I was there. He got me at the damn Sunday dinner.
Really?
Yes, he got me a Sunday dinner. He said he never came down in the dungeon, and I was always worried. And every day when I had to go there, I was mentally prepared to like, oh shit, this is the day it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But he never came down, and I was there one Sunday for dinner, and he came over. He was coming down the steps. Have you ever been in the living room? You know, the stairs come down there, and he says, so you're that American big bastard that's saying tough and everything. You know, he comes down. You know, he's come here. He lures me in closer to him, and then he asks me. He says, what are you working on down there? And I said, I was working on punches with Bruce. We were working on punches today. And, I don't know if you can cuss on here or not, but he was pretty much said, Bruce punches like a pussy. And he says, come here, let me show you how to punch. And he grabs me and he fish hooks me and turns my head to the side. And he's standing on the staircase. So I'm looking up at him. So he turns my head to the side and got me hooked. And he just takes his knuckle and he shears that back tooth off right there.
Really?
It didn't come out. Yeah, it didn't come out that night. I was like, oh, good one, Stu, good one. He goes, and he comes down the stairs and he didn't say anything else to me. And I got through dinner. And then later on, I kept touching the tooth with my tongue, and it was sheared right off at the gum line. It just wiggled right off there. And some bitch, he knocked my tooth out with that knuckle. He hooked me, fish hooked me in my face like this. He hit me with his knuckle and just sheared that tooth off right there. So I always said, yeah, it always reminded me when a guy goes to pork, he's like, I got the pig's tooth. I was thinking, Stu got my tooth, man.
Well, back in Florida with Malenko, was he the trainer like Matsuda would, like the trainer where Matsuda would wrestle the hell out of him? What was Malenko's style of training? In other words,
well, it wasn't as hardcore as Matsuda and him. I mean, maybe we did 300 squats, 300 push-ups, mostly 10 and ones. You do 10 squats, nine push-ups, and then change it down, 8 to 7, so on and so on. You go up back and forth, 10 and ones. But he's a big believer, even in the deck of cards. With
right,
we warm up with squats and push-ups and crunches. You can mix it up, but definitely the squats. A lot of squatting. But then we just wrestled. I think he got in that. Or that point where he figured like, your waist, you needed to be in shape on your own. It was time to train. And back then they'd give you all the move sets. They didn't necessarily explain why you were doing them or anything. You had to go figure all that out still. Like where wrestling has evolved so much now, wrestling training has evolved so much now, like where you go there and you're breaking down footwork and how to move and everything, but they just expected you to figure it out. Here you go. This is a headlock takeover. This is a wing lock takeover. This is a top wrist lock. This is a Mexican hand to knee. This is a double wrist lock.
What were they teaching about being loose? Were they teaching you to work, or was they tight in the ring? Because some of those old time trainers, man, they get you in a headlock and squeeze the hell out of it. And take you
he was a little older, so he wasn't stretching you too much like that. Yeah. But then I had people like Kirshner that would come through there. Right. Some of the ones that have already had all that done to them, and I remember the first day Kirshner came in. They had 2 classes. There was a beginning class, and then there was an advanced class. And so I would hang around and watch. I would do the beginning class, and I'd hang around. And it took 3 weeks into my training before I figured out it was a work anyway.
Gangrel, what's funny? I broke in the same way. I trained with Brad Reingans up in Minnesota, and Brad never abused me, nothing. Brad was wonderful, wonderful guy. But it's funny because he never smartened me up. And people now don't really understand that. You're taught the moves, you're taught the headlocks, the takeovers, the suplexes and stuff, but you're never really taught that it's a work. And it's funny how that training can go that way, and basically you just kind of learn on your own. It's kind of the light bulb, keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter in the head that, okay, this is a work, that's a work. But it's funny how that training has evolved so much.
Yeah, because then not on top of that, you had to get booked somewhere and then get on the road and figure out how to survive it, because they were all burying you in some kind of way. So you figured it out, your footwork, being in the right place at the right time. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's not about being fast and running all over the place and blowing yourself up. And training has evolved so much, and I'm grateful for it. But I don't believe there's enough schools training people the right way.
So why did you train with Malenko, but then you went up and also trained in the dungeon? Why did you end up training in the dungeon also?
Well, because went up there, I got booked there, and then they said, well, you got to retrain.
They thought you were one of those shooters.
Yeah. So I said, you got to retrain. You got to come and show up. So I had to show up at the dungeon every morning and train in the dungeon and do a lot of cardio stuff. I went there I went there 210, maybe 220. But when I came home from Calgary, I was like 199 pounds from all the cardio. He had an old St. Peter's treadmill there, a freewheeling treadmill. And he would sit there and have you roll your Bruce Hart, he was a river. He'd have you roll your shorts up, and he'd have a switch. And you had to sprint full out for a minute. You know, and if you fell back on it a little bit, he would whelp the back of your legs with it, right? And you'd hop off and rest 15 seconds or 30 or whatever it was, and he would sprint that full minute. Just a series of explosions. And then, the hill, they would take you outside and get a partner, and then you had to run down the hill and then wheelbarrow up. You hold your partner's legs, and you got to walk on your hands all the way up the hill, and then you had to run down the hill, up, down the hill, and up and down the hill. And when you were done with all that, you'd go eat lunch, and then if you had time, if it wasn't too long of a road trip, you had to go to the ring at the pavilion and train. And then, there was a lot of, so you want to be a top rope guy, so they'd make you stand on the top rope and do, like, people would hit the ropes while you're standing in the corner, and then when they holler at you, you had to do like a splash, flat, land it out in the center of the ring, and then hurry up back up to the top rope. And that would just go on for like an hour, and stuff like that. So I think it was just really seeing if you really wanted it, but at the same time, I'm so appreciative for it, because it really, you either lose your mind or you become a good wrestler, or you become a serial killer.
Yeah. Had you had many matches at that time, or?
Yeah, well, I was working in South Florida a lot, but that was the first territory I went to.
Okay. So who after you left, who was your first actually in-ring match that you had, if you remember?
In-ring match, I don't know. It was a lot of students and stuff like that, and little things. But the first match was Red Roberts. I worked at a Davey Rodeo Arena. It was like a TV for Global Championship Wrestling. That Global, that was out of South Florida. Yeah. That first high-def television, yeah. That was my first actual TV match. And then there were so many in Florida Championship Wrestling from there on out. I don't know, what was it, a Tuesday night, I think you would go there?
Right, yeah.
You drive up and you get the hell kicked out of you. You couldn't have convinced me it wasn't a work there. It wasn't a shoot there. Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
17 is when I started. And then I got, right before I turned 18, I had my first match. And then pretty much 18, I was working all the time, like all over. Did you finish school?
At that point, when you're on your own, did you quit going to school?
No. When I had the kid coming, I went out and just got a GED right away. So just got a job. Just went out there and started life. So I didn't have much of a childhood. Up to 13, it was great, and then everything just changed. It just all changed. But then when I started wrestling, I think I lived my teen years out again for the next 30 years.
Yeah, we all turn into teenagers once we get on the road.
We still do.
It didn't help. I was 18 when I met Luna.
So
or 19. I was 19, I think.
Who actually got you up in Calgary? That's quite a culture move from Florida to Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, well, it was the guy I was tagging with named Tom. He had originally went up there to work. He was a big Owen Hart fan, and we used to watch a lot of tapes, and Stampede, we watched a lot of Stampede wrestling. He was a big fan of Owen, and somehow, I don't know how he got booked up there, but he went up there, and they beat the shit out of him. They ribbed him. They just did horrible things to him, and he came home right away. He was up there like a month or two, came home, and then he wanted to go back, but he wanted to go back as a tag. I guess he was afraid to go back by himself, but he just really wanted to go. So I went up there, and then when I spent some time up there, I got why they ripped him. I understood it 100%. He would stooge on people and stuff. Ross. Owen was coming back. We were training at the pavilion, for an example, and Owen was coming back in from WWE. He just had a run, and then there was like Kenny Johnson and Ben Bastarab was hanging around. I don't know if you know any of those guys, Ben Bastarab, but they were all training, and the rumor was Owen was coming back. So then Kenny started going on, oh, we'll never get pushed. And he started burying everything. And of course, my partner went right off to Bruce Hart and Ross and all them and said, oh, this guy's burying himself. We get the TVs and they go, Dave, can you step in the shower, please? And I'm like, oh, great. I get in there and they go, so we hear these people are saying something about Owen, blah, blah, blah. I said, I didn't hear shit. I didn't hear anything. And they go, you sure? I go, yeah, I'm positive. And then when I left out of there, I told my partner, I'm gonna kill you, man. it was Tom. He just, and now I see, and then the ribbon just started on him after that again. it just started. Like the rib on me in Calgary. I did get ribbed. Don't get me wrong. I got ribbed in the fact that they paid me $50 a week. That was part of the reason I was 199 pounds on top of all that cardio.
$50 a week?
Yes, and then when I was leaving, I told him I was quitting. It was right before we were supposed to win the whatever the belts were there, the tag belts, and I was leaving, and of course my partner ratted me out too. I'd already bought a Greyhound ticket, and I'm out of here because I sold everything to go to Calgary, and I still had a kid to feed and a whole family thing going on at home. I said I got to go, man, and he stooged me out, and then they sent the manager over called Ben Ryan, and he had a handful of money. I don't know how much. He goes, oh, here's your back money. Hey, don't go, just stay. And if I would have known now, I probably would have took the money and still left on the Greyhound. But
that's right. Yeah.
But I didn't. But I get along wonderfully with all the Hart family. You know, even all of them, all the way down to Teddy Hart. I get along with them all, and like when Natalia, she goes, "Oh, it was so great to meet you when I first met her." She goes, "You're the only one in my family that the whole family agrees on liking. Nobody buries you." I'm like, "Thank God." But I think it comes down to the fact that I didn't rat anybody out, and I didn't take the money. I stuck to my guns and left. You know, I just did what I had to do, and but I was grateful for that training. I am so glad I did it.
You said you got along with all the Harts. Can you name every one of the Harts?
Oh no, Smith, Ross, Bruce.
Jerry, the Harts can't name all the Harts.
The Harts can't name them.
They had sisters living in the adjacent thing. There's so many of them. Yeah. But no, but it was a tremendous experience, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the training I got in different ways. So.
You know, we look back on that silliness that we all went through. We all went through some really, really silliness getting into this business, and you know, it's near and dear to all of us because it was such a valuable learning experience, and something, you know, none of us had ever had. You know, John and I, college athletes, come into a world like this, and it's so helter skelter. But all there, as you go along, all that madness starts to come into focus. Why you were trained like that, and because it's stuff that you run into out on the road, and situations you run into in the ring, and they want you prepared for all of that stuff.
It truly, people, and you know, and I'm not knocking the process of the business now and where it's at, but they're not mentally prepared to be a part of what this whole industry can be, and the toll it'll take on your body and the traveling, and mentally you have to be so mentally strong and okay with yourself, or you'll be eaten alive. And so it just, I don't regret anything that's ever happened to me. I'm grateful for it all. And I tell people all the time that pro wrestling owes me nothing. I owe pro wrestling everything. I was just a washed out kid that took a wrong turn way early in life. And I found a place in a home of pro wrestling. Granted, my run, you know, John, JBL had such a great build-up. I wish my career really was that good. You know, iconic.
It was that good. I was there. It was that good. You're being too modest. Your career is great. You know, it's funny because certain characters are remembered forever. You're remembered forever. That's an incredible legacy.
Yeah, I'm blessed. That was like a perfect storm of everything. The entrance, the fire, the music, being different at the time, standing out. I was terrified to do that. Luna talked me into doing the whole vampire thing. Wow. We were sitting around watching the Lost Boys one day, having a baloney blowout on a Sunday, and we're watching the Lost Boys, and I said, I'd be kind of cool to wrestle as a vampire. She goes, you should, vampire. She called me David back then. It wasn't vampire yet. She goes, you should. I go, oh, no. You can't be a vampire in pro wrestling. No, get killed. Like that doesn't make any sense. And it all happened by accident. That happened, and I ran into a fellow named Barabbas. He was helping book in Puerto Rico right after the Brody thing, and after that went down, they opened the opposition there, and he was helping book stuff, and they're getting ready to run a show. And he walked up to me. He ran into me out, and he goes, "Hey man, you look like a pro wrestler. You know, you're being a young guy trying to find you." Well, I am. And he goes, "Oh, I booked down in Puerto Rico. What's your character?" And I just split up with my partner and that whole thing. I wasn't going back to Japan. He got another partner. They were going back, and out of nowhere, I was thinking Puerto Rico. It's not blood violence. I said, I wrestle as a vampire. And he goes, "Oh, that's great." So I had to figure out, oh shit, he goes, you got any pictures or anything? Because back then you had to fill out the picture or send the tape in or something like that. So I said, no, at home I got some. So I quick ran home, and I was with Luna at the time, and I said, you heard of this guy Barabbas? She goes, yeah, I've heard of Barabbas. Yeah. And then so I told him I wrestled as a vampire. I said, well, we better figure it out, So took some lead press on nails and sized them up to my teeth and cut them into a fang shape, painted them the same color as the teeth were, and super glued them on. That's why I have so much brain damage. I think I super glued these teeth on for like, I don't know how many years.
How long did they stay on?
They would stay on all night if I left them, but if you picked at them, they'd eventually come off. But every time I put them on, I'd feel my throat burn in my nose, and I get that. I was getting high every night. So I super glued them on. They had the fangs, and then I had a mohawk at the time, or a skullet, kind of like Knobs. That's why I got rid of it, because I looked too much like Knobs when I gained weight. I didn't want to be mixed up with and compared to Knobs. So I stood the mohawk up, and I found this thing, and I painted these like Kevin Sullivan looking weird eyebrows on, and took a picture and ran out to the Eckards or whatever it was, the Rite Aid, and got the photos developed, and met him the next day. And he goes, oh, this is perfect. And then he goes, you got to fill the back of it out. And so when I went to fill it out, he goes, no, because I put like 6'2", and then I put all my actual stats. He goes, no, and you got to put like 6'4", and he put the weight up like 40, 50 pounds. He put the weight up. I'm like, what, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He goes, I'm gonna give him, and he took the photo down there, and he gave it to him. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, I got a phone call on my answer machine.
This is after your Calgary run. This is after Stampede.
Yeah, this was after Stampede. So this is like right after the Brody thing happened. This was like 90,
right?
90, yeah. 91. Yeah. And they opened up Opposition. They had that company open up opposite Capitol. Yeah.
You had gone to Japan at that time?
No, I had been to all Japan twice, and then I was getting ready to go back to IWA. I went as IWA after that.
What happened over there, David? And did they bring some karate guy in to try to what was that story?
Oh my goodness, that's years down. So I started in All Japan under mask, and I did 2 tours for All Japan. Had a falling out with my partner. He went back with another partner, and he got beat up. I don't know if you ever seen you ever see that one nasty chair shot Stan Hansen does on the guy in a black mask? I don't know if you ever seen it. It's so nasty. It's worth watching. It's like the Beverly Hillbillies when they shoot the ground and the oil flows up through the mask. It's like boiling. So I had a falling out. He went back, got beat up. I went down to Puerto Rico, and then I started doing that thing. I met Victor Quinones there. So he was part of you know Victor,
right?
Victor Quinones, right? So he was part of IWA. He's one of the owners, and this other fellow Osano, right? So they were a little like whatever. I know Osano, the owner of the company, he was gay. Like Victor, I heard stories, but I didn't think much of it. So I'm over there on the tour, and this is when I'm drinking, and I was taking a lot of things called like Halcyon. I was taking a lot of Halcyon.
I remember those.
So, I was sitting out.
We've heard of it.
For whatever reason, I had some kind of tolerance to them, and I enjoyed them. I think they would kill me now. I don't even know if they make them now anymore. But so it was out with Victor, and I was drinking, and I was taking Halcyon and everything, and I'm having a good time. And he was just asking me some of the strangest stuff. He's like, "I bet Luna really likes that curly hair," and I'm like, yeah, sure she does. I don't know. I wasn't even thinking nothing of it. I'm like, this guy's strange, man. Like, it's like my first time sitting out with him. And then his face kept, I thought he was having like a spasm or something. Kept closing his eye and twisting his head. He would say something strange and offbeat. And I go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like, some kind of like Bell's palsy. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on with him. And then, so I just keep drinking now. So now we go to head back. Doug Gilbert was there, Miguelito Perez. There was a few other guys in this elevator. So we go to get in the elevator, and I go to push the floor. Now, granted, I was wearing Zubaz pants, but we're like into like the 3rd week of the tour. So my underwear were hanging in the room drying. So I was out commando in these pants with the Zubaz. And as I pushed the button, Victor perfectly grabbed my ass, and his finger penetrated my butthole, man. like through those Zubaz. And I spun around naturally and grabbed him by his throat. And I had him up against the elevator wall, and then it all came to me all night. That spasms he was having, he was winking at me. The curly hair remarks. I go, oh my God, this guy's been flirting with me all night. So I'm kind of laughing, and Doug Gilbert and them, or Miguelito Perez actually was like, amigo, you got to put him down. He's drunk, let him go. Because I had him by the throat. But I was laughing. I was thinking, all night, this guy's been flirting with me. And then, so I wasn't even mad at this point. Like, I let him down, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He was like super drunk and wasted it. And he gave me a bunch of phone cards, like the bootleg phone cards to make up for it. They kept sending this stuff to my room. I'm going, man, he's going over the top with this, but whatever. I really was over it. It was like all night he was struggling, but I didn't get it because I was drinking and taking. I didn't catch on to it. So I didn't. It wasn't funny. I didn't want it to happen, but I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, whatever. So because I grabbed him by the throat and all that, and I felt bad about that because I got a little bit of a temper when it goes. And but I let him down. It's like the next night. Every night, Victor came to me and he would have me go over every night, like really fast on like the Leather Faces and the Freddy Kruegers. IWA was like a monster company, so I was working as a vampire. And I thought it was strange. I was going over every night. Then that night after this happened, the next night, they sent Miguelito Perez over. Migo, you make job tonight. I'm like, sure. like, yeah, I'll make a job. I don't care. I was surprised I was going over anyway. Who cares as long as I'm getting paid. And then he pointed out to a ring crew guy. The guy was a Spanish guy in Japan, but he had scars all over him. I go, can he wrestle? You got a problem, amigo? I go, no, I don't have a problem. Just ask you, can he wrestle? Do you have a problem? I go, no problem. Then he goes, 15 minutes. I go, 15 minutes? He goes, you got a problem, amigo? Like he was trying to intimidate me. I go, no, I don't have a problem, but can he wrestle? Do you have a problem, amigo? No, man, I don't have a problem. So I go in there. And for 14 minutes, now this isn't the karate guy. We'll get to the karate guy. But for 14 minutes, I beat this poor bastard up for 14 minutes. I'm just pumping him. I'm picking him back up, and I'm hitting him, and he's falling down. And about 14 minutes in, I go, hit me. And I realized the guy didn't really even speak English. Then I finally said, peg him. So he swings a punch. It was so like phantom and weak. It probably missed me by 6 inches or a foot. Who knows? I mean, it was obvious, and I did just a nasty like back bump. I just timbered like boom, and you could have heard that arena, and it was full. It was like crickets when you heard 1, 2, 3, and he pinned me, and it was just quiet. It was like scary quiet. I walked all the way to the back.
You did the job off a Phantom Punch.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
I beat him up for 14 minutes and did the Phantom Punch job.
That's great.
So I get to the back, and there's a guy, Ricky Patterson out of Texas. He's a big Canadian guy who works his Leatherface, not Kirshner, but the other one. And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You just exposed everything." I go, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Oh, are you scared? Are you worried?" I go, "No." I go, "We'll find out tomorrow," because nobody was talking to me. And then the next day, I was back over again. Like that'd be going back over. So the tour is finishing up, and it's Corrigan Hall, and we're sitting in there, and they have the board up. They didn't put any matches up. Then I'm like, I wonder what's going on tonight. And then they finally put the card up. It said karate versus wrestling. Now everybody else's name was filled in everywhere in the rest of the thing, but this was like the opening match. It said karate versus wrestling. I go, well, karate versus wrestling. I was wrestling as a vampire then. There wasn't a whole lot of wrestling. It was kind of gimmick and brawling, but karate versus wrestling. So I go around and I ask one of the young boys, like, "Oh, it's me, like me, as in me." And I go, "Oh," and I see Victor sitting with Osano, the owner. They're all over on the other side of the arena. So I'm in the ring trying to, hang out for the show. So I ask him, "Hey, maybe they want to go talk about this. Maybe he'll catch you with a kick right out the gate. I don't know. I'm just trying to make talk. I'll get up at the 9 count. He'll come at me and I'll catch a submission. I don't know. I'm trying to make the best of it. I haven't figured out that this is I was being set up or nothing, So, and then I see him go over there and he's telling it to him. And it just looked like James Jonah Jameson in the old Superman cartoons when he laughed. They were smoking cigars. You could see the rings of smoke going up. They're like, ah. So he comes back and he goes, "Davidson, maybe trouble, bite." He left, and I'm like, "What the maybe trouble?" And then Rick, the other guy was there, that Leatherface guy. He goes, "Oh, sounds like you're in trouble tonight. What are you gonna do?" I go, well, I'm in Japan. I'm certainly not running. I don't know. He goes, I think it's got to be a shoot. So like, he's getting me all G'd up about it being a shoot or something. I'm like, and nobody's talked to me. Nobody's come over to give me any finish. And the show started, his first match. So my music goes, and I head out to the ring. So I get out there, and I'm in my corner like a little. I picture it felt like I was a little cuckoo clock, you know, the little things where they walk back and forth. Like, so I'm sitting there and I look and I see all the guys, you know, all the American or the foreign guys out on the wall, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not a good sign. Then this guy.
Had you talked to the karate guy at all?
No. Talk to nobody.
So you don't have a finish. You don't have a finish. Nothing.
Nothing. Just them laughing when the young boy went over to talk to them. Just a cigar smokes and rings and laughing. Like, okay. So when this guy's music hit, it was like a Showtime boxing pay-per-view or something. Like, I don't know. They were like, whoa. Everybody knew who this guy was. He was getting streamers before he got to the ring. He was getting streamers on the way to the ring. I'm like, who is this guy? You know? And he gets in, and he's a bigger guy, like 6'3", not too much bigger than me, but he looked like a giant to me because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And he didn't talk to me. He's in there, and he's just warming up, and I'm just sitting in my corner, and I look, and all the Japanese guys are out on the thing. Like, they never come out to watch a match. I'm like, oh man, this is not good, you know. But I'm still kind of like, do I wrestle? What do I do? I don't know. So the bell rings, and this guy just kind of walks up calmly right to the center of the ring. And for the life of me, I don't know why I did this. I went to tie up. I go to come in and tie up. But before I could do anything, it was like, wow! I just got my foot lifted off the ground to kind of defend the kick, but he caught me my knee hard. I was like, oh! And I kind of crumbled on my left knee. I kind of went down. And the next kick was coming, and I was already leaning. He was coming in, and I thought I could get it was so fast, I thought I could get my elbow down in time, but he popped it in and out. I was like, oh, it knocked the wind out of me. But he didn't break my ribs, but he bruised them really bad. So I went down to a knee and an elbow. And the rest of it was told to me by Ricky, Leatherface. He tells me the rest of it. He goes, oh. And then I remember seeing it. What I remember seeing of it was I was looking at him, and it was in slow motion. I could see the sweat dripping off him in slow motion. And he's gearing up, and he's coming with a kick to the head. So I guess he comes in with that kick to the head. I couldn't get my arm up in time for that either. He was so fast. And he kicked me, and Ricky, when he's telling me about it, he starts laughing. He says, it looked like somebody put a shotgun under you and pumped it and just shot you under the chin. He said, I blew up and my back hit the corner. And he said, before my arms dropped, my arms never dropped. He said, I turned purple and grew 3 sizes as it came out. and I just knocked him out. I knocked him out. And then I proceeded to pick him up. He said I was running and trying to break his neck into the ground. And then he was like, he's unconscious. And I was laying on him, and I hooked a reverse dragon sleeper. And I was bridging back trying to break his neck. And they said, it was camera people came in, referees, everybody's trying to pry my hands off. But yeah, it turns out he was some big deal, like medalist or something. There's video somewhere. People keep telling me they're going to give it to me. People have seen the video. So, because I start questioning, is this a big fishtail I tell? And then I ask people back, and they go, no, it happened.
So what happened afterwards?
What happened after? So I'm back there, and what I remember is they're looking in my eyes with these lights, these guys there, and then I go, oh, and then it was like I guess I was blacked out, like just in some other frame of mind or something, and nobody talked to me, nothing. They sent some stranger over to pay me. It was the last night, so we're going to Korea the next day for a 2-week tour over there. So this guy, I believe, was Korean too. So nobody talked to me, nothing. The guy got paid, and Ricky, this is gonna sound racist as hell, but he's like, oh, finally a white man killed the yellow man. He's like, I'm so tired of getting my ass kicked over here. So he was celebrating. I'm like, well, I'm not even sure what happened. I'm thinking I just got my ass whipped, you know, because I was groggy, like, because those 3 kicks were the fastest I've ever been kicked, you know. The only person that hit me that fast one other time was Tyree Pride. I don't know, you remember Tyree Pride?
The Pride of Bahamas.
Oh shit, he hit me so fast on it. We're working the Miccosukee. I got banned off the Miccosukee. I got banned. I ended up They ended up holding me for assault on federal marshals, inciting a riot. I beat the shit out of Tyree when he did that.
Were we over in the Bahamas or where?
No, down on the Miccosukee Reservation down there in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got banned. They told me never come back. Never come back.
You get banned on the Indian reservation, you've done something.
Yeah, I've gone back. I've gone back and wrestled since then. A couple of the kids came to my school to train, and they go, "Hey, we were there when you got arrested that night." Tyree tried to stab me. Like the Tyree thing was. Also, back to the karate thing. I'm sorry. So I went to Korea for 2 weeks, and then I had to come back and finish a tour with them. IWA had another tour, so I would do Japan, then I'd go to Korea, and then I'd come back and do Japan again. But you had a week. I had to wait a week for the tour to start. So I came back. They never called me. They kept calling Ricky the next door. I go, "Is he calling you? Is Victor calling?" He goes, "Yeah." He keeps asking if you're still mad. I go, "I'm not mad. He's got to give me I need my per diem, so I'm going home." I said, "Tell him to call me." And like 3 days went by, and he never called me. And I'd hear his phone ring every time. I go, "Did he just call you?" He goes, "Yeah, he called me." He asked if you're still mad. But they never came over and paid me my per diem. I just jumped on a bus in Narita and flew home. And then later, I went back to work for him. Like a year or two later, like nothing happened. Like
he never brought it up. I mean, he set you up in a shoot and didn't tell you about it.
No, he never brought it up. And then like when I tell the story, Bushwhacker Luke, you know Bushwhacker, right?
Right.
Yeah. So and Luke looked at me and said, "Mate, I think you're full of shit." Like, I said, "Where are you at?" He goes, "I'm in Puerto Rico." I said, "All right. So is Miguelito there?" He goes, Yeah. I said, "Go ask him about that story." Because Miguelito, I think, was instrumental in all setting this up too. And like a week later, Luke called me up and says, "Mate, remind me not to fuck with you, man." So yeah. No, never mentioned again. No talk of it at all. Just wrestling, right?
Right before the match, when you're sitting in the dressing room, you never talked to this guy. You thought it might be a shoot, it might not be a shoot. You had no idea.
I was confused, yeah. And for some strange reason, I still tried to tie up. At that point, I knew it was a shoot, and I still tried to tie up. Got 3 damn kicks to hurt. Yeah, but I don't know. It gave me a good street credit all the way up to like I went back to All Japan in 98. I went back to All Japan. Actually, I did the Funkin' Dojo, like for WWE or whatever, when Dory had the dojo there. Right. They had you come in and look. And I did that, but then I had a tour of All Japan, and I went back and just worked as David Heath, just boots. I got in good shape, lost all the weight and stuff. And I was over there, and I went back, and Misawa and Kawada, they were trained. It was Misawa mostly, and he goes, "Oh, no more Fat Boy, Okama champion." They were like, because they were all joking about it. So it gave me street credit all the way through All Japan. They treated me totally different after that. Like all the Japanese guys. Hell, I didn't even know they spoke English my first trip over there. I just thought they hated me, and they thought my head had a target on it when they were sticking it, you know.
Hey, who did you work for in Korea? Was that Lee Won Pyo?
Yeah, he was like a big karate guy or something, right? Yeah.
I worked with Lee Won. Me and Booker both went over there when we first started and worked with Lee Won Pyo. He stole Booker's spinner Rooney and wouldn't let Booker do it. But true story, he got him in the dojo. Every main event was his. I lost the Korean championship like 18 straight nights, and I never won it.
Now, John, what did he do? He took the spinneroonie from Booker T. Booker T was doing the spinneroonie at that time.
Yeah. So every night I'm putting Lee Won Pyo over. You know, I walk in with the Korean championship and I lose the championship to him. You know, it was that mysterious, you know, Rio tournament. You know, Sonny Rods or something. You know, like Pat Patterson did with the Intercontinental title. And Booker was doing the spinneroonie, and the Korean fans were going nuts over. I mean, nuts over it. They loved Booker. And so he had Booker show up in the dojo. All of us showed up and had Booker teach him the spinneroonie, and he stole it from him and told Booker not to do it.
He told him he wouldn't let Booker do his own move. Wow.
He did that a lot with a lot of things in matches. He would tell people you can't do this, and you can't do the boss man stuff. It was like
He would steal anything.
Could he do it very good, or was it?
No. No. He couldn't work.
Yeah, no,
he did it like Vince McMahon done it.
It was terrible.
I shared the ring with him a lot. Yeah. But over there, that Korea trip though, that guy, they were sponsored by the what do you like, the mob or something, and something like
Yeah.
that. They were sponsored. So when the karate thing happened, I went to Korea. They took me out every night like I was some kind of huge star because this happened. You know, the word traveled fast. Like I said, I had street credit Korea and Japan. So they're taking me out every night, and I'm eating every night in fancy restaurants. Eating this really good tender beef, like that was Korean barbecue. And every night, like about the fifth night in, they said, "What do you want?" It took me out again, and like a sponsor type of deal. And but you know, they were all like mob or something, whatever you want to call them over there. You know, they're all bad.
Yeah, that nubs.
So they would. I was asking for the meat, the Korean, and they go, "The woof woof," and I'm like, "The what? The woof woof? What are you talking about?" And they brought a picture out and showed me like this baby husky, this dog, and I'm like, eating dog. Every night I've been eating dog, these bastards, they're feeding it to me, and I was enjoying it. And then I asked for it last night. He showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh!" I tried to no sell it, but inside I was going completely insane. I was living like losing my mind, you know. Like,
yeah, they would take us to seaside resorts and they'd want to show off. So they grab like the octopus, the small little, you know, squid they make in a calamari. They grab them out of the aquarium and eat them live, you know, where the, you know, things are going out, you know, and showing us, you know, whatever, you know, just probably the same stuff we would do if we were in the States doing it to them.
Yeah, I guess. But these bastards fed me dog every night. And then I was in denial about it. And then somebody I was with, like, he liked a little bit of smoke. He liked the smoke.
Well, did it taste like chicken?
No, it tasted really good. It tastes like a little, not gamey, but they had this really good. I hate to admit it, but it tasted really good. It was good.
Oh, did you have like Labrador or Rottweiler?
Husky. Baby huskies.
Only husky. Did you have barbecue sauce on it?
Yeah, it was marinated. It was marinated, not barbecue. It was marinated.
So what you need really is JR's barbecue sauce on a chihuahua.
Well, it was good enough that I willingly asked for it, but I didn't know it was dog the last night. That's
a big seller in Oklahoma, John, at JR's barbecue for dogs.
I ate McDonald's after that for the rest of the trip.
So you moved up to cat.
I don't think I've eaten cat. I'm pretty sure I've eaten horse and goat in Japan. I'm not sure what Ribera steak is. I think that was horse meat. Put a lot of garlic on it.
You know, Ribera's steak isn't that good.
No.
It's just there's no other American food. I love Ribera's. I got 2 or 3 jackets. I love going to Ribera's. They give you the corn and the steak. The steak is not that good. It's just
load
you've
of
been
garlic
over there
on
for
it.
3 weeks and you haven't eaten any American food, and it tastes like it is the greatest beef ever.
Well, Dave said hit their secret. They smother it in that garlic, man. Garlic, fantastic.
Yeah. And I would just put more garlic on it. And I go, I don't know what I'm eating, but.
So you come back to the States here. What was your progression there before you finally hit the? Did you go to WCW a little bit or what?
So my route was so I started out '88 or whatever, did some jobs, Florida Championship.
Who was running Florida Champ? Was that the Steve Kern, Dusty, and Mike promotion?
Dusty, and Mike Graham. Dusty for sure. Dusty was for a while there. And
Eddie was gone by that time, right?
Eddie was gone. Yeah. So I did off and on. I did that kind of stuff. And then the territories that I got any kind of movement or push in was Calgary. Then from Calgary, I went down to Puerto Rico, and then from Puerto Rico, I went to Memphis, USWA, and in between that, I was still like doing. Trying to get into WWF, of course, and stuff like that, and doing jobs. Had
the Vampire surface yet, or did that come?
It did in '93, the Rookie of the Year thing. I had a tryout there, and I think Vince McMahon just shook his head. I don't think he cared for it. He didn't like the Vampire stuff too much, and but Jerry Lawler did. And he came up to me and says, "Hey, you want to go to Memphis?" And I go, "Sure." He goes, "Can you be there on Monday or whatever it was, or Saturday?" It was Saturday at TV, I think, and so that weekend. So I flew out there, did it, and then stayed. I just flew back home and then drove back out there and stayed in Memphis and did it there. So that's where that started and that's where the Rookie of the Year thing came in '93. And then
you had to be surprised as anybody. You've been wrestling for 6 or 7 years, and all of a sudden you're Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, said, all I had to do was beat Jeff Jarrett. But yeah, but the thing about Memphis was funny is because I went to Calgary, all Japan, Puerto Rico, and I believe an IWA tour before I got to Memphis. So when I got to Memphis, I couldn't figure out why when I was working. I worked with Jerry Lawler. Lawler never said a word to me. Everything was fine, and it just we would do the matches. Nothing bad, nothing good. He'd be thank you. Whatever. Hell, we didn't even talk before the match. Like he barely even gave me a finish half the time. Like, he just called in the ring. Then I worked Jeff Jarrett, and then Jeff would only let me hold a headlock in the heat. And I would call Luna. I'd call her. I don't know what's going on. I said, they just can't get no heat. Well, I don't want to be rude or anything, but all they would do is let me hold a headlock. And then I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I was riding along, and Scotty Too Hotty, Scott Taylor, right? His car broke down. And I pulled up and offered him a ride. He wouldn't get in with me. And I said, Scotty, you want to ride? No, I'm going to walk. I said, what's wrong, man? Get in the car. And I finally talked him into the car. I said, get in there, we're riding. And I go, are you all right? Are you mad at me or something? And he just took a deep breath and he goes, man, you're killing everybody. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're beating the shit out of everybody. I forgot. I went back to that just beat. I was just trying to survive, man. I was just in there killing everybody.
So Scotty Too Hotty was gonna walk instead of getting in the car with you
because he
had so much heat.
That's heat right there.
That's heat. That's real heat.
We traveled after that together, but with friends, I went because I just kind of went, oh shit, man. I was like.
So it's a work after all.
I just totally forgot. Like,
damn, Malenko.
I was just fighting for my life in all those other places. So I got there and then adjusted well, and then everything went good from there on out.
It's funny because me and Bobby Duncan would come back from Japan, and nobody want to work with us. We're two young kids that are big, strong former, football players. But you be in Japan for 4 or 5 weeks, and you come back, and they're like, I'm not working with them. Period. Because you get so used to that freaking blood and guts style in Japan.
Yeah. In '98, when I was over there, that's who they wanted me to. They tagged me up with Bobby. They said they wanted to put the all Asian straps on and stuff. I was just in black trunks, white boots, and they had me tagging with Bobby. And then WWE said they were hiring me on the same tour. It was Dr. Death's last tour over there, and but I was tagging with Bobby. Oh Lord, what a partner he is!
Oh, he was the best.
Oh, wait, I said, Bobby, did you take a shower? Yeah, baby, West Texas. And he's thinking the boss. They would ask me, where's Bobby? I go, I don't know. You haven't seen him. Nobody can find him. And damn, he'd be sleeping in a broom closet in the hallway somewhere in Japan. You'd have to hunt up and down. He wasn't in his room. He was a hot mess, man. But he was so fun. He was one of the best guys to be around.
Oh, Bobby was awesome. When I broke into business, Bobby was my roommate down in Texas. His dad, Duncan Sr., wanted him to go back and play football, and that kind of screwed up our gimmick because Bobby went back and played some arena football, and he had oh my God, I bet he had 6 or 7 surgeries on his shoulder the next year.
Yeah,
he got really screwed up playing football, and we had a good deal. We were about to go to, I think WCW I think Mike Graham had talked to us. At the time, but we had a bunch of offers to go different places, and Duncan Sr. wanted him to play football, and Bob. Now, in fairness, Bobby did too. And Duncan Sr. in defense of him, he because I talked to him about it later. He said I want him to get all of it out of his system while he still can and play as long as he can. Unfortunately, Bobby got hurt again, and that's when he got all those surgeries and
between his shoulders and his back. His back was always.
Oh, he was messed up bad. That's what kind of contributed to some of the problems he had with some of the pills. He was in a lot of pain.
Yeah, but he was a great guy, man. Yeah, I love him. It was so much fun. I was really sad when he left this earth.
I did his eulogy. Because Bobby and I were good friends, and Bobby would call me and go, "Hey, Duncan," and I go, "Is this Bobby Duncan? Are you looking for Bobby Duncan?" I said, "What the hell is this English?" Every time he comes, "Hey, Duncan."
That's that Texas way of communicating, Dave. You know that. So tell us now. You're starting to develop a vampire a character at this time here, or is it still coming a little bit later? So
that was I was trying to get away from that at the
just
time.
trying to get away from that.
I was just wrestling as Dave Heath. That's it, just trunks and boots. But I still did it. I would do it in like I was going to All Japan that time. That was the All Japan tour. So Vince McMahon came up to me, the dojo before the dojo thing. So I went to the dojo. He said, "Get rid of those fangs." I had them in permanent for a little bit there. I had permanent fangs. He said, "Grow your hair in," and I'm never going to use that vampire character. You do all that other stuff, you'll get a job. And sure enough, I grew the hair in, got rid of the fangs, got what I called abs for me. there was a couple of abs there, but I was lean. I was down to 228, and they gave me a job. Like they offered me a job, but then they told me that I wouldn't do the vampire. They told me that I wasn't doing that. They would sit home for a year. They said, "We don't know what we're gonna do." Which I go, "You hired me, and you're gonna sit home?" They go, "Yeah." And I was home for a week or two. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't very long. And then Vince Russo called up and said, "Hey, bro, can you still do that vampire thing?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Can you do the vampire thing?" I go, I was thrown off because like I took the fangs out. I was going to go that route anymore. And then, so he goes, "Yeah, we need you to fly out Saturday." This was a Friday night. So I quick ran to Hot Topics, the local mall, grabbed a white puffy shirt and the pants. And I walked next door to Journeys and grabbed the boots I had on. I grabbed them. And they had a gimmick challenge there. They came up with the entrance, all that in a weekend. All that, the music, that entrance. I came up with that close that Friday night, caught the flight Saturday, and did the Sunday night heat.
Now you and Bruce did some fantastic vignettes. You and Bruce Pritchard did a fantastic. You guys went up in Connecticut or Massachusetts and in some vampire villages, didn't you? If I remember that right.
Oh no, that might have been Edge when he was running. Like
okay, it was Edge. Okay,
yeah, that's the Edge. Yeah. We went to Ybor City on some of our vignettes.
Ybor City. There's a lot of vampires out there.
They were trying to do the vignettes. I think Adam Edge at the time, he was such a good kid at the time. He kept wondering why I kept disappearing. And Sean goes, "What is wrong, man? Like, you all right?" I go, yeah. I was so tore up, man. Tore up from the floor up out there trying to shoot those vignettes. It was good times back then for me.
Gangrel, I was there that time when you were practicing your entrance and they almost barbecued you.
Oh yeah,
I saw the whole thing.
Yeah,
we all did. Jerry may have been out there on the floor, and we see you coming up, and you're jumping around, patting stuff, and I thought, what in the world's wrong with him? And then I realized that the fire had somehow got sucked into the going up.
Yeah,
and you were being cooked.
What happened is they condensed that hold down for Rey Mysterio, and they wanted me to come back where the other entrance was like 6 foot and 3 foot wide, so the flames could breathe and they would breathe up. Right. This one, it was a Mysterio for Rey Mysterio. They wanted me to come up through that, and it was a crank thing, but the hole was so small that the flames sucked in. So when they lit the flames, I'm standing there and I couldn't go anywhere because they had me squatting like this. So the flames, my skin, I looked down and I just was holding my skin off my wrist. It had just burnt off my arm, and I jumped up out of the elevator and I just went back there, and I forget who was there. One of the trainers, they just kind of snipped the skin off and cleaned it up and wrapped it up, and we went out there and I think it's Tag Division. We came out with you, right?
I think so. Yeah, I was sitting out there when you're practicing rehearsal when they barbecued you.
Yeah. That was like about an hour before the show started too.
Oh yeah.
And then we're up early, and I taped it up. I remember flying home with Eddie. Eddie goes, "You one tough hombre." He says, "I wouldn't have did that." I said, "Well, I don't know what else we're supposed to do, man. That's all I've ever done. Just keep going."
We also had a time where Luna almost beat up me and Ron for hanging you.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
You do the old hangover, Jerry, as you know, and if you just get your hand in there, you're fine. You can sit there and be there. All you need is a couple fingers in there.
Yeah.
And either you missed your hand or something, but we're live on TV and we're trying to, figure out how to not kill you. And Luna was in the back, and she got so mad. Yeah. Ron goes, maybe we should go the other way. I don't want to run. I'm not going to run into Luna.
it was a brand new rope, and I got my hand in it, but it just cinched everything. It just
That's what it was, yeah.
And that rope lock was brand new, so it just kept tightening. And I said goodbye. I remember saying goodbye to my family and everything. I said, "Oh God, please let them know I love them. I was a terrible dad." And everything was fading, and next thing I know, I see Midian in my face. You all right? You all right?
Yeah, you're obviously were in hell.
Yeah.
You saw Midian.
It's all Midian, yeah.
And then next thing I heard is saying, "Oh, Luna's in trouble." Like, you know.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Where'd you go, David? So Luna was going to beat you guys up there.
Oh my God. Yeah. They told us as we come through Gorilla, Luna's waiting for you guys.
Wow.
Oh my God. I said, why? They go, what you just did to Gangrel. And I guess she knew it was coming, but realized that it had gotten a little serious, and she was waiting to physically assault me and Ron.
So that's when Ron got smart and he wanted to go the other way.
That's exactly right.
I'm sorry, guys.
While you're gone, Gangrel, Jerry asked me what happened with Luna, and I guess because we were in the ring with you, she saw it backstage and realized you were in trouble, and we're trying to figure out how to get you down, you know, and get you off camera. And when we came back, they go, Luna's really mad. I go, that's when Ron goes, oh, we'll go the other way.
It's funny. She got fined for that, but they gave me a bonus for it. So
Did she really? She got fined for that?
Yeah, for losing her shit back there. Yeah.
Well, thank God me and Ron weren't back there when she really lost her shit there. She'd have jumped me and Ron.
There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah, we heard about it as soon as we came back in there. I guess they had gotten her just out of Gorilla, and they told us about it. And I really don't want to run into her right now. I'll just go the other way.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Whenever I run into Godfather, he tells me about the time Luna stabbed him in the head with a hanger in the elevator, and then
yeah.
So we got
I've heard that story a million times.
Oh, I never heard that story. Tell me that story.
I don't know the beginning of it or not. I don't know what she was up to because there's so many stories about her. I don't know. I don't even know. He might have knocked her out for all I don't know what happened. All I know is he tells me, Luna stabbed me in the head with that damn hanger.
Yeah. There was a fight broke out between Godfather and Luna.
Then she beat up that what was his name? Men on a Mission, Sir Mo or whatever. The manager Oscar.
Yeah. Hey, and I was there. I saw the end of it in Dallas Reunion Arena, the old Reunion Arena, when her and Sable got in a fight. I saw it. And then Animal, the Road Warriors, broke it up, and she slapped the shit out of Animal. Animal's got that 30-inch neck. It's not going to hurt him, but it was.
It was Sunny. I think I remember. She called me right away. You didn't hear anything, did you? Because I guess she goes, I never punched her in the face. I just punched her in the back of the head. So it was Sunny.
Sunny.
It was Sunny, yeah.
I'm sorry. I said Sable. It was Sunny. I'm apologizing.
Luna said something to Sunny. Sunny went and called Animal. Animal came and said something to Luna. So Luna hit Animal for it.
Yep.
And it went in the locker room pissed off. And then Sunny kept trying to fix the situation. And then Luna opened up the door and put her in a damn one of the production boxes or something.
That's when I saw it. I saw it when she had thrown her into that big black production box, and she climbed on her like an MMA fighter, hooked her by the collar, and was punching her.
Oh man!
Oh my God!
She always got me in trouble. She got me fired from Memphis. She was in WWE at the time, or WWF. I was working. It was Eddie Marlin town. It wasn't even it was Eddie Marlin's town, Knoxville. And Luna was in. They wanted Luna on the show. They wanted her to wrestle Jackie and Miss Texas, Jacqueline. And Luna said, if she hits me in the ear with that clothesline one more time, I'm going to beat her up. I said, did you tell her not to hit you? She goes, I told her 3 times. If she hits me one more time, I'm going to beat her up. I said, just tell her again. And she told her. And she went over and told her. I seen them talking. And they go out there, and I had to second her, walk out to the ring. So I'm out there and then here comes that clothesline and hits her right in the ear. She goes, shut up. And she starts growling. Poor Jackie never stood a chance, man. Jackie, she wrapped Jackie's hair up in her hand and threw Jackie over the top rope and just started punching her. Pow, 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 pow. Drug her in the ring. And then they go back, and then Road Dogg was there. And then we're walking back, and then Road Dogg says, Luna, Jackie says you could have never done that. You sucker punched her. She says, what? Ah! So she storms in, bangs on the dressing room door, and Jackie opens the door, and then she just, boom, beats her up again.
And Jackie was a pretty tough lady, too.
Yeah, Jackie was very tough.
Yeah.
And Eddie Marvin fired me. They got me fired.
That's great. So you got fired.
I got fired. And she's in WWF. They fired me. And they and then about like a half hour later, they said, hey, you know, we realize it's not your fault, but can you control her? I said, quit using her. You're visiting me. You didn't have to put her on the show.
Well, the good thing in Dallas was I can't remember who was with me, but I saw the finish of the thing with Sonny. And when I walked out there, I knew she had popped Animal. She had beaten up something. I'm like, I'm not staying out here because I don't know who all she's going to beat up.
Oh man, I can't tell you. Like I said, so many fights. It was back in the drinking days. She couldn't drink on her medicines. You know, she was schizophrenic, bipolar, all that. We'd go in a bar, and everything would be fine. And she'd go, "I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back." You know, and then she'd go to the bathroom. I'm looking around. I hear a bunch of hooting and hollering. She'd walk out of the damn thing, or shirt off in the air. I'd go over there and try to get her corralled up and get her dressed and say, we got to go. And then the whole bar, why are you taking the fun out of the bar? I said, listen, I'm saving all of you. You know? And they start arguing, and then it would go down. And then there it was. We're fighting everybody. And then when it was all said and done, it was me and her back to back, her topless, and me sitting there back to back, fought the whole damn bar. Like, I said, why do you do this? The next day, she'd be like, why are you mad at me? What do you... I just can't keep fighting people all the time.
Gangrel, that had to be crazy though. The Vachon family. I mean, they're not known for their normalcy.
Yeah, she was just trying to live up to her Uncle Mad Dog because you know he was known as a tough guy and this and that. And that's how she tore her vocal cords. You know, Mad Dog Vachon. You know, and she tore her vocal cords and damaged them so bad. Her voice was like that all the time. She had to actually work a sweet voice, like, hi, you know, that sweet voice, because she had tore her vocal cords. She just idolized her uncle. She tried to live like her Aunt Vivian, and you know, Vivian was a wild woman. So
what she was sweet though. There were no lady sweeter than what she was when she was wanted to be
Luna was awesome.
Yeah,
Luna was wonderful. Everybody loved her. I mean, everybody.
I spent 18 years with her.
Wow, 18 years. Wow.
18 years we're together. Yeah.
Do you get a Purple Heart for that?
I've committed a few times.
Did you ever have any interaction much with Mad Dog?
Just one time we were out in. I was just actually doing like jobs for WWE. Luna was there, and where was it? Like North Dakota or somewhere, wherever he lived out there at the end. And somebody came up. It might have been Timmy White. It might have been, hey, the Mad Dog wants to see you. You know, I'm like, why?
Why?
I'm like, why? He goes, I don't know, kid. You better get over there. You know, I'm like, hey, you know, so I'm over there. And then there's Mad Dog. He only had one leg at the time too, and he's just like, hey.
That was that night they used his leg as a gimmick.
Yeah. He's like, you're marrying my niece. You better not hurt her. Take care of her. Figure, I better not hurt her. Or I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna rip your head off and shit down your throat. He cut a promo on me. I just kept saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you start having doubts then, David?
I should have ran from the get-go. You know, when I first met her, it was for the championship wrestling. She was with Dickie Slater at the time. And she was with Dick Slater. She was wrestling Peggy Lee, which was her old girlfriend. So Peggy Lee broke her nose. For whatever reason, broke Luna's nose. And Luna's like, I could hear her growling in the hallway. Dickie's going to kill me. I wasn't even supposed to be here tonight. My nose is broken. Blood everywhere. She kicks the door open, and I'm sitting with Brian Knobs. She kicks the door open and looks at me and goes, fresh meat. what the hell is that? And I was terrified of her. I actually moved my chair behind Knobs. I said, what was that? He goes, that's Luna. She does our laundry and everything. She's so sweet. I'm like, but I want nothing to do with that. And oh my goodness. And then somehow I ran into her a few years later, and she attacked me drunk and beat on me, bit me in my back. It's a long story. And I was gonna kill her. I was so mad. I had her up. She wanted to ride to wrestling practice. I wanted nothing to do with her. Like, I was just scared of her. She drove this Volkswagen Golf, the little white Volkswagen, and she wanted me to drive it because she was drunk. Her and this girl Denise had been drinking margaritas all day. Like, they were just hammered. I don't even know why they wanted to go train. Like, yeah, but my partner was he loved her. He said, "Oh, this is Luna. We got to give her a ride." So we start. I got to drive because nobody's sober. I'm the only one that took training serious. So I'm going down there, driving down to Miami in this car. She climbs in the front seat and she rips my shirt off. She starts punching me. Why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? So I was so mad when I got there. This was at Rusty was running the class then, and I get there. I had a ring in like a backyard, and I go out there. He goes, go just wrestle it off, man. Go take it out on the young guys or something. So I'm out there just wrestling away. Out of nowhere, she drops down. I don't know if she came off the ropes or just jumped through the ropes. She bit like a pit bull down in the middle of my back. I couldn't reach her. She was like locked on. I had to jump through the ropes and catch her face in the ropes. And I grabbed it. I pulled her out, and I had her up. And I remember Rusty was just going, "Hey, that's 6 Slater's old lady. You can't hit her." I go, "She ain't a lady. That's not a woman. This is a creature." You know, I was losing I was losing it, and I was about to, and whatever. I put her down, and I went out there, and I'm not proud of this, but I kicked the mirrors off that car. I kicked the doors in. I was so mad at her, and I swore her off. I said, "I never want nothing to do with this girl again." I said, "Just keep me away from her." I had a scar on my back. It took a year for that scar to heal, for it to go away. We were best friends before that scar healed. Me and her were best friends and running the roads, and she set me up with more women and girls. I don't know how. That's why I always claimed that she was the real vampire, because she turned me. Turned me. She bit me, and we became best friends, you know. And then like everybody thought we were together for a while there, but we weren't. She had the book for the WoW roster, so like, life was good. Yeah, but I don't know how we ended up together. It wasn't a mistake. We didn't want to be together. We just somehow ended up together, and before you knew it, 18 years it flew by.
Well, it was the bite. I mean, that's how you.
It was the bite. That's right. It's it. It was the bite. Well, she was just like, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm being negative on her. Now, people listening to this might think, "Holy crap, she was the sweetest person in the world." Like, just as big as her fist of fury was her heart. It was the same thing. It was huge. It was just huge.
I thought the world of Luna. I really did.
I
She
did too.
was such a sweetheart around me, and I just really appreciated her history, and appreciated her toughness too, because it was needed at that time for women in this business.
Yeah. I think she did good now. I think she would have liked a lot of some of the girls now.
Oh yeah,
she'd have been great.
Yeah.
She would have been good. Luna's one of those people that would have been good in any era.
yeah.
Yeah. She was just you know, I mean, it's not her fault. I mean, she was legitimately schizophrenic and whatever, name it, whatever she had it. She was on so much medicines and stuff to try to keep that under control. But where it fell in her court is where she would drink on those medicines or you know, do all the other partake in all the other things that would set everything off balance. But yeah, like she was fighting an uphill battle the whole time with mental illness and stuff like that. But no day was boring, man. I can tell you, I never had a boring day.
Well, me and Ron thought she was great, except for when she wanted to beat us up.
If Ron said you better go the other way, that says something.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll go with you, Ron.
Man, Ron, what a great guy there too. Huh?
Oh,
I still see Ron. I run into him every once in a while. I'll be like, "Damn, how you doing, vampire? You still married to that doctor?" Like, yeah. He goes, "Oh, you're good. You're good. You'll be good." He says, "You still wrestling?" I go, "Every time I can." He goes, well, damn."
Yeah.
What are you up to now, David? You still got your training school down there? You had a state of the art school.
I did, but I'm not a businessman. So, and it wasn't that there wasn't money coming in. I just trusted the wrong person. But I am running a school now. CCW, they run about 150 shows a year. I don't do a lot of those shows, but I run the school Monday through Thursday when I'm home, and I'm still out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hell, next week I got shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got shows, and I got double shot on Saturday, a show Sunday in Charleston. So I'm very much still wrestling. I'm very blessed, like John said, with that iconic kind of people remember it. I'm still riding that 25-year wave. However long it's been, man. So I've been so blessed, and they still come, and people still show up to see it. So I'm grateful, very honored, and flattered. And but I still try to go hard. I just don't go to the top rope as much as I used to, or go over it backwards so much. But still out there grinding and love it. But I do have a passion for training the newer generation. You know, I feel like is a new high for me. Like I don't do much of anything anymore. Hell, I'm lucky if I could even finish a glass of wine now. But I hate the missed training and seeing these guys progress and stuff and being a part of their journey. I live through each and every one of them. Everyone that comes in there, I relive my whole wrestling career through them, and it's just a blessing and it's amazing. And I still want to John line, every day is a great day or greatest day.
Best day ever.
Best day ever. That's it.
Best day ever. Yeah, I got that from Frenchie, who may know backstage in WWE. You know, Frenchie used to always put that best day ever. I thought that was always so cool. Every day should be best day ever.
Well, Frenchie, the Francois or whatever.
Not Francois, Frenchie, the guy who does the audio for WWE.
Oh,
okay. The kid from Mountain Vegas, right?
Yeah. He lives now just south of Denver. His kid's a rock climber and does all kinds of stuff. Frenchie's a great guy. Been there forever.
Yeah. I'm just blessed every day. Just blessed to be above ground, man.
You know, you had in the one storyline you had with Edge and Christian and the Hardys and Michael Hayes, you had the one other vampire in the wrestling business, the Freebird, Michael Hayes.
Oh man, dude, I'm sure I was 6'2" when I started in WWE. After those few matches, I think I walked away 6 foot. With that clubbing punch of his.
Oh my God, Michael would hit you with that left. Anywhere from the elbow to the top of the head. You had no idea where he's going to hit you. You just knew for sure he was going to hit you.
And it was going to hurt.
It was going to hurt bad. Hey, Naves, and he just throw a punch. I go, Michael, you could at least try to work part of it.
He
had no aim and he had no distance. They were all long.
We were working with. I was with Christian and Edge. And he was with the Hardys, and somehow we all ended up at an Outback Steakhouse outside Pittsburgh. And so Christian Edge are over there having like salads and steaks. Look over there, and the Hardys are doing the same thing at this time. They're all good guys. And I'm on one end of the bar drinking Jack Daniels, and Michael Hayes is on the other end. So still trying to keep the whole kayfabe thing, but somehow we drifted closer and closer and closer as they're eating. And, you know, I love Michael Hayes, man, but he tells you a lot of the same stories over and over. And,
no good. I've known him 50 years, and I've heard the same story.
So I said something to him, and he got hot. He goes, "Hey, kid, it's my time. It means it's my time. You know what that means?" I go, "Yeah." He shut up, man. He goes, "You want a headbutt?" And I said, "Matter of fact, I do want a headbutt." He was getting hot at me. So we're in the Outbacks, and he hauls up and he headbutts me. Like, he pops you one. I go, "Oh, good one, Michael." And I pop him back with another one. About this time, the Hardys and Edge and him come over. Hey guys, let's get outside. We gotta go outside. And he still wanted a headbutt. We get out there and we went a couple more rounds. And then I caught him with a headbutt, another one that opened him up and dropped him to his knees. He was bleeding. And he's like, Nave. When they inducted him into the Hall of Fame, Edge and Christian reenacted that, and I gave Edge so much heat. I said, "Why did you tell the story backwards? Michael Hayes is on his knee bleeding. You made it sound like I tapped out to it." He goes, "He's going in the Hall of Fame, but if you would have read my book, you'd have read I told the story the right way." Well, Michael Hayes
loved to headbutt people. I mean, loved him.
Yeah. Yeah, I about headbutt him right off that cliff in Pittsburgh at that Outback.
I know that Outback you're talking about. Me and Ron been there a few times.
Yeah.
They still allowed us to go in there after that.
Yeah, well, we went outside and it was just funny, like trying to ride with Edge and them. They're like, man, they looked at it like a fight, But me and Michael, I think we just looked at it. We just headbutting, A couple guys.
Michael meant nothing by it, but he would headbutt you hard enough to try to knock you out.
Yeah, and I headbutted him back. It was good. It was fun. But I got the better in that night. He tapped out with a name. He was like, Dave.
It was just another night Picola to Michael.
Yeah. The guy, he had some color coming and everything. And but the Hardys and Edge and Christian, they were freaking out. Me and Michael, nothing happened the next day. We were good.
I was out with Vince, Michael Hayes, and a bunch of other guys. We know Vince occasionally would go out with people, and Michael Hayes headbutted me right out of the blue. And I went to go after him to headbutt him, and I see Vince over there. He goes, no.
He was good with those nose with the look.
Because he knew what was coming next. We wouldn't stop. Neither one of us would have stopped.
Yeah, good times. I miss all those times. They might sound crazy to other people, but it was a whole lot of fun to me. Best times of my life.
Yeah, it was a great time. And you guys worked with. I worked with you guys a ton. You were in the ministry. You were in the later when I was JBL. Also, we got to work together quite a bit. Yeah,
and it was all fun. And everybody was always like, "Oh, Bradshaw's gonna kill you with that clothesline." I go, he seems so sweet with it. It was always good. I go, if you guys are getting hit, it's because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Christian took a few. I remember Christian getting a few.
Yeah, it's all about the bump. I don't want to tell anybody that. I'm like Hanson. Hanson you go with a black eye. Hanson goes, "Oh yeah, tell everybody I did that." Stan loved the reputation too.
Yeah, I think it just people, they either try to jump or they pause or they get afraid and they end up getting yoked or something. Just snap bump, a nice easy snap bump, and everybody's happy and all looks good.
Right. People don't realize, go toward the shoulder on anything like that. Go toward the shoulder, not away from it.
Yeah, it's like a tackle. Yeah.
And then take a snap bump. That's how you protect yourself and all that stuff. But your first thought is to go away from it, and that's where you get KO'd.
Yeah. I remember it was Rick Steiner was giving the Steiner line back when I was doing stuff in was it Georgia Championship then? I think it was called Georgia. I don't know what it was called, but when he first came in, he was just like knocking job guys out. I just ran at it as fast as I could. I never felt it. It's in the bump. It's just not being afraid of it, I suppose. Like you said, man.
Well, Hanson would just hit you in the face.
I took it some from him.
I have too.
Well, I can't see you. I can't see you.
Yeah, it'd come at you like Joe Frazier.
I know one match was with Hanson. It was in Japan. It was like my first trip. We were working him, and he was outside the ropes on the apron. And he goes, slam me. And I'm going, slam him. Like he was ribbing me. He had me reach over the ropes and try to slam him in from the rope. When I got him up, he cut me off. Like it came in over the rope. I don't think he thought I would get him up. I was like, is this guy ribbing me? But I was scared to death because it was Stan Hansen. I was going to do anything he told me to do. If he either told me to bump in the third row for a phantom kick, I would have bumped.
You know what's so great about when you're wrestling Hansen is when he comes out and he chases all the Japanese fans all over the arena with the rope and this stuff. And it is just, it's a sight to see. It was awesome. But then you realize, he's coming after me.
You're next. It was always hard. Like I didn't know him very well, so I always wondered, did he like me or not? I think he sat at the front of the bus all the time, and he just didn't really say a whole lot. And I was always, man, I hope I'm not on his bad side. Because I was just a quiet.
One of the legendaries, the tape out the window. The movies. He didn't like the movie and threw it out the window. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, except for the fact we got nothing to watch.
Oh man, good times.
Well, Gangrel, how can people get a hold of you and all that stuff for bookings for all the things you do?
Well, everything seems to come in on Facebook, Gangrel David Heath, or the Instagram. Same thing, Gangrel David Heath. So it all comes in on there. Just Gangrel, my real name behind it, David Heath. And yeah, I'm always on there. I check those regular. Seems like everything comes in on the Facebook. So staying busy. But if you are reaching out to me, reach ahead, because like I'm 3-4 months out. Always slammed up. I'm very blessed and very grateful. But please reach out.
Well, thank you for joining us. You know, Jerry told me we were going to get you, and I know you're busy. You're on the road, and you're doing a million different things. You're in a hotel room, I think, right now. But so
yeah.
I've always enjoyed being around you. We've always had such good times together. I think the world of both you and your character. I really meant that when you're one of the most iconic characters that will be remembered in 50 years from now. They'll still remember Gangrel, which is a pretty cool legacy. So thank you for joining Jerry and I on our show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm humbled by those words. Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, David. It was so great seeing you. I'll see you down the road here, I'm sure, somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hopefully sooner than later.